All right, so this week, what we're covering are the 4 non-digital tools you can use right away to boost mental clarity and focus. And the significance of this, if you are following sort of in line with the idea of becoming your productive soul, which inside of the playbook, we talk about as being honoring your hero humanity, right? Your hero humanity is your productive soul. Okay, your version of your productive soul. And so the mental space required to actually show up as that is critical, right? To be able to access that part of you, the part of your consciousness that's required for you to show up inside of your productive soulful self is what this really just comes down to. So these 4 non-digital tools, for those of you who have the 25 Blueprint Playbook already, I'm going to turn your attention to where it is in that playbook. Just give me a second to switch gears and show you. Here we are. Here we go. All right. So if you have, where is this thing? Hang on a second. Where's the, okay. All right. So let's switch gears. So you should have a preparation checklist, okay? And this preparation checklist is part of what you need and what I'd recommend that will make it a little easier for you, maybe even a little bit more fun, right? As you see written here, for you to be on this journey of your productive self. So these 4 non-digital items here, let me just annotate them. All right, there's technically 5, but the dividers go inside of the binder. Okay, so we can make it 6, but there's 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So a small compact notebook. So let's break this down, right? So if you've been using this notebook and this playbook, and you got to this section, here's what this is really referring to. So let's walk through this. So this small compact notebook, I mentioned, for those of you who might remember if you watched the Instagram version of this, there's a book, an item that I mentioned called a Swift Note, okay? And that Swift Note is available through a company called Levenger, okay? So now let's take a look. Are you able to see Levenger? Yep, you can, right? So Levenger, when I mentioned the Swift Note, right? Some people might have thought like, oh, brother, what's he talking about? Well, I've been in this game for a while, and I know what I know about this particular practice of developing tools and gathering tools and resources for mental clarity, okay? And this is one of them. So this particular tool served me very, very well in the beginning of this journey. And I just can't, it like I mentioned in my in the Instagram version of this training, where I didn't give all of this away. This Levenger, this little tool, I'm telling you, when you have a Levenger Swift Note with the little pen that slips inside, I'm telling you, you feel some type of way about who you are. I mean, look at this thing, pebble green leather with the refillable ink refillable pen, right? I mean, when you break this thing out and someone's saying something and you're like, excuse me, one moment, please. And you just pull this thing out, you just open it and the pen is already in there, right? And I think it's, you twist it so that the ballpoint sticks out and you write what you write and it tears off, right? So you can give it away or keep it in there and then you fold it back up and you just put it away. Let me tell you, you feel some type of way. Don't play with this thing. Don't play with this thing. So if you already have like a moleskin and all that, that's fantastic. But let me tell you, nothing makes you feel more special in the moment of just handling what needs to be handled, right? When you don't want to go through trying to put it in the phone or whatever, or if you just want to make a little productive scene, just say, one moment. Right? The Swift Note is your partner in crime in that moment. Okay. All right. So that's a little bit about the Swift note. Next thing that is part of this non-digital, four non-digital things, tools that you need that you can use right away to boost mental clarity and focus. So let me kind of recap. Why would you want a Swift note? Right. Let's really break this down. Okay. So the reason why, there's a lot of reasons why I used it. Right. And I'm going to break it down why you might and should have something like it when you are starting out with this process of building your productive soul muscle. So sometimes what happens is your phone will die and you still need to be able to capture information. Okay. Now, naturally, you can tell someone, oh yeah, my phone is dead. Can you just text me? That's fine. Not a problem. Right. But there's all kinds of other things that come up that you want to write down. Right. If you're in real estate or what have you, and you drive by a piece of property and you're trying to, write down the address of this place is for sale or this place is for rent or whatever it is that you have to do with respect to this property. Like, okay, your phone is dead. Yeah, sure. We're used to, there's always a way to charge it, or maybe you're charging it in the phone, or maybe, it's plugged in the office. That's fine, right? But the disruption of like waiting for it to charge or having it tethered to the wire while you're trying to enter the information, it just gets annoying and just sloppy, right? So having one of these really saves you that like wonky experience of trying to figure out where you're going to write something down. Oh, wait, hold your thought. Let me grab a pen. Let me grab a piece of paper. All of those little micro movements to get yourself in the zone, like they just kill. They don't serve you. So what you've got to have, that is helpful, right? Again, based on your habits, maybe you're just someone who just has got a sharp mind and you're good, right? And you're not worried about these things. But if it matters enough to you, the Swift note or a tool like it is where it's at. Okay. So remember that Swift note and levenger.com. Just go to the search bar for Swift notes and you'll get yourself one of these. And like I said, this thing is like, it's this micro little notebook, but it just packs such a punch. All right. So the other thing, and also that notebook is really great when you are, in situations where you don't want to have it look like you're on your phone, right? To make notes, you can just pull out the Swift note, have your pen in hand, and write things down. Recording device. Okay, so the recording device. Let me see if I can find one online for you. The Olympus, right? Right. So it's a voice recorder. And there's all kinds by now, right? The version that I have is like an older version of this because mine's like a silver case one. Okay. Yeah, actually, I think this is the one that I have, right? So this thing here, I mentioned, if you didn't watch the IG version of this, I'm going to get a little deeper into this. So I mentioned that it's got 5 folders in it, right? 5 audio subfolders inside of the device. So that means like your spirituality. So faith, fellowship, finances, feelings, and fitness, are the 5 kingdoms of the 25 blueprint framework. So with that being said, your faith, right? If there's like a, if you find yourself as like sort of mentally all over the place and you just feel like, man, there's just so many things you can't get straight. Those 5 folders are very helpful because you can then record according to the area of life that a particular thought or an idea or a conversation needs to go in, right? So all things related to your spiritual life, whether it's mantras or prayers or affirmations, you can record them and then play them back in your head ongoingly in folder A, right? And if you have something related to the second kingdom, which is fellowship, then that you can capture anything related there as well. Finances, which is folder C, anything related to money, many business ideas. Let's say you have a business idea. Well, where do you record that? Well, you record it in folder C, right? Oh man, you have this experience or spiritual or energetic experience that you want to capture. You go to folder D, right, which is the 4th folder, and you record it there. the fitness folder, which is folder E, that, like, let's say just general daily journaling, right? I have all my daily journaling as needed when I have it on hand goes into folder D, right? I just generally say, I'll record it like this, something like, hey, if you let's just say you wanted to capture a particular idea that's related to a particular kingdom, or in your journal, you'd say, this is for my spiritual kingdom. And that way, when you listen to the recording, you know what that audio is supposed to be associated with, right? Or, hey, this is for my money kingdom. This is for my finances kingdom. And here's an idea, or here's a thought that I'm just sharing. And then you just record whatever comes after that, so that, again, later on, you can grab whatever file that's in, that's like a journal entry versus just like a specific thing that's recorded that's related to a particular kingdom. You know where to associate it later on if you want to organize your audios that way. Okay. All right. Yeah, non-digital. This is a non-digital tool, but it's digital in the sense that, like, when you plug it into your computer, you can take the files and put it into the cloud. Okay. The mental focus, mental clarity part of this is that, on any given day, I mean, honestly, for me, there's some days when, my recorder is kind of like my therapist, right? Where, I wake up and I'm walking to an appointment, and I need to sort of just capture my thought, capture my feeling for the day. And it captures that energetically for me and kind of gets it out of my head and into that recording, right? For me to be able to go back and say, okay, wow, man, I was really going through it. Okay. So it's very beneficial to be able to have that practice. So audio therapy. All right. So let's talk about the third thing here, which is time graphic display. Now, this here is kind of hard to show people because I did the Instagram live version of this conversation, but I want to show you what I mean by time graphic display. So if you have a 25 blueprint planner, you should be familiar with this. All right, so standard weekly planners, at least the old school joints, they used to look something like this, right? But it's just like, it's so cryptic and old school, like you don't have much space to really plan things, right? And just really think things through. It never really allowed me to have the kind of mental space, mental clarity to just really visualize what I needed to do, how I needed to go about things on any given day. And so for that reason, I recommend using something that's a better visual display type of planner. So our planner, right, when you look, or actually, let me show you the second phase. So there's like a planner like this, which you'll find like in the old school dayminder type situations. There's this other type of planner where you just kind of like see all kinds of, I mean, it's trying to be helpful, right? But you got to do a lot of like figuring out of just how to make the most of it. Not bad. You can find things like this at like, a home Office Depot or Staples, or maybe even Target, right? But sometimes, they either end too soon, or they just don't have this sort of like 24/7 setup that you live your life inside of, and it gets a little frustrating, right? So then people stop using it. But in the case of the 25 blueprint planner, our time graphic display will show you, and this is even a former sort of picture representation of what the planning pages look like, but you'll see like from midnight to midnight, it captures this. Okay. So I will also say, in some cases, there are some custom planners that are exactly what you need, right? So like Grant Cardone has a 10X planner. I think Brandon Burchard has his high performance academy planner, right? Like if you're inside of a community already and you have a planner that works, that's an example of a great time graphic design planner. Like you need that. This here was sort of it kind of pointing the finger at the industry, right? And saying the industry doesn't give you in this standardized way, like room for you to just make your planner your own. Does that make sense? And so for anyone who has a customized situation, you're using like a Grant Cardone planner, or depending on who you're collaborating with, those planners are catered to you, so you know how to use them, right? You know how to make the most of them. But if you're someone who needs the kind of graphic representation that I mentioned, where you need to be able to see from 12 to 12 to plan out your day, right? Not everybody needs to do that. Some people are just more like to-do taskless people, and they don't necessarily need this sort of like level of I don't know if it's transparency, but it's more like just there's a word for it, where you just kind of see this visual capture of the time continuum that you're up against, right? If this makes a difference for you, this is one of the things that makes the 25 blueprint different. Okay. And of course, you're already in the video training, so you don't need to click on here because you're already in it. All right. And 3-week look ahead. Again, this is a model of one of the pages. There are some new pages that have been added since this mock-up. And those new pages are like spectacular, okay? And what I mean is that, so you see how like 12 a.m., it goes from 12 a.m. here to 12 well, essentially 12 at the bottom, right? Because the last half hour is 11:30. It'll blow your mind, because 12 to 12, this half is now a full day, so that you have really plenty of space. Let me see if I can pull this up actually, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about, because this is actually really important for you to grasp. So I'm gonna see if I can pull up a pull up the visual for this. All right. Hang on. All right, so this, I'm kind of doing a mock-up, right, just to show what this looks like. And you can, write in the week, right, that you want, daily intentions and outcomes. Up here on this left side, might be a little tricky to see. Let me see if I can show you the color version of this. Ooh, look how sexy that productivity sheet looks. Starts at 12 up here. Might be hard for you to see. And it ends at 11, which of course butts into 12 here. And the day, it sort of, this is kind of designed almost like, think about the sun / moon. I'm going to give you an illustration of what I mean by this. So think of, let's just use orange, right, to just kind of capture this. So if you think about, oops, no, I'm actually going to, let me use a circle to do this. Right? All right, so think about how this is designed like in a way where this part of the day, just like, if you think of this whole circle as the sun, is the first half of the sun's movement, right, which is all from 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. Okay, and then on the other side, on this direction, is the afternoon movement, which goes from 12 p.m. Okay, from 12 p.m. So this is the p.m. side. Let me show you this. Okay. All right, so you see up here is p.m. This over here is a.m. So on the a.m. and the a.m. and then p.m. So p.m. side takes you from 12 p.m. All your activities get written here. So it used to be that 12 a.m. all the way down, was to the, to midnight. But now half of your day can be planned boop on this side, and the other half of your day can be planned on this side using this same timestamp. And if you zoom in here, it actually says 12 a.m/p.m. So when you're dealing with the AM, this is where you are. When you're dealing with the PM, this is where you are. When you're dealing with the PM, you're still looking at the same timestamp. Okay, so that's how that plays out. All right, and there's just a intuitive relationship that you get to develop with your calendar when this happens and when this plays out. All right, so that being said, this is like the day part of this. There's the task list, right? Which I'll do a deeper training on that. But overall, I think you get the idea, right? This is like that third non-digital tool, right? Time graphic display, right? That was the thing, time graphic display. So let's switch gears now to, let me head out of this annotation situation. And clear all drawings. So let's jump back into the fourth thing is going to be a 3-ring binder. Okay, so the 3-ring binder, the significance of the 3-ring binder. Yeah, your daily intentions is also important. There's again another upgraded version of that, and there should be a training for you to see how that works. But the 3-ring binder, you can put these sheets, right, when you print them out, in a 3-ring binder, or you can put them inside of one of these. This Circa system, right, is really, really phenomenal. Okay, the Circa system, you can find it at Home Depot, or because this technology for binding sheets can be found at Home Depot, and I think Office Depot. I mean, I keep saying Home Depot, Office Depot, or Office Max, right? I guess there's Office Depot, Office Max. Wow, there was an Office Max. I forgot. Holy smokes. So, or you can put it into one of these, right? And the 3-ring binder, of course, is easy for you to take things and take things in and take things out, right? But you always have to kind of do that little pull thing when you open up the binders and then close it back up, right? All right. Well, what I want to share with you is with these Circa binders, the thing about these is, watch this. I'm going to kind of show you something. All right, let me switch video mode. Let me just stop the share here. All right, so let's talk about something for a second. Okay. All right. Okay. Can you see me? Okay. So this binder, right, what you see here, the thing about this that makes this work is that you can grab a sheet, okay, without having to open anything. And I'm trying to prop it up so that it's easy for me to demonstrate. See that? See how I can do that? I can grab a sheet and just rip it out like that. Okay. And I can move this sheet somewhere else and just plop it back down. So just to give you an idea, let's say I just moved it into a different section. Okay. I can do this with it. You can hear this, you can kind of hear it snap into place. You hear that little snap? That's just the papers grabbing around the rings. Now I've just relocated a page, right? If you had a 3-ring binder, the thing about this is that you would have to be opening up the whole binder, taking the sheet out, closing the binder, getting to that other section, and then opening the binder up again to put the sheet back in. See what I'm talking about? So this is actually pretty kind of fancy, right? And to be able to get one of these, right, where you can do what I just showed you, Let me take this out and put it back where I originally got it from. To be able to get one of these, notebooks, of course, I already told you where to get it. But let me show you on Levenger's site how to go about it. Okay. All right. So on Levenger's site, see this binder? See this notebook? This is what this looks like. You can get, there's a full leather version of this, and then there's a leather version of this. Okay. And this is just remarkable. Like I said, you feel like a productivity snob when you are working with these documents, right? With these binders, you just feel special. Okay. So so you work through this, and you can get one of these, but I'll caution you that these come with, they come with sort of their own planning sheets, their own planning system, just like I mentioned to you. So if you already kind of like are, smooth with using the Levenger system and day calendar system, and that works for you, fantastic. Just incorporate the 25 blueprint principles as you use it. Okay. The thing I have to also share with you is that at some point when you create your own custom sheets, or let's say you have created your own sort of system or whatever, this mother jammer here, see this? This is their own system. I don't know if you can see how that, see that? See how it says Levenger right there? See, this is how you know you're dealing with a real nerdy one. Right? See that? See how it says Levenger? Listen, I put my sweat equity into this thing, man. Like, this ain't a game. This ain't a game. Some people are like, holy smokes, it comes with its own. Yeah, it comes with its own paper stamp or hole puncher, right? And that's how, when you have your own sheets. So I have Levenger sheets inside of my binder, and I have my 25 blueprint sheets inside of my binder, right? That's how I make the magic happen. All right. So that being said, make sure you guys are getting a lot of glare on my glass here. So all that said, this is what that sort of daily 3-ring binder can be like. It can be a 3-ring binder, or it can be a Levenger binder. But the Levenger binder, is like one of these, okay? That Levenger binder makes life easier when it comes to moving. When you just have your mind in different places and you want to move sheets around, you gotta, go back and forth and go where you need to go to make stuff happen. All right, so that's Levenger. All right, let me go back to my sheet here. All right, so let's get for yeah. So that's the 3-ring binder or Levenger binder, right? Levenger is almost like a 3-ring meet. If the 3-ring binder and the spiral binder had a baby, it would have birthed the Levenger system. All right. And then of course dividers help you organize like where you put things based on this 5 kingdom model that I've been talking about. Okay. Yeah, some people looks like they're not happy as far as the feedback I'm getting with these binders. With my binder illustration, right? If the spiral bound, wire spiral bound paper had a baby with a 3-ring binder, it would produce Levenger, or the Circa system. You put it that way. So that said, those are your 4 digital tools. Everything else here is kind of like given. Digitally, you need a cell phone if you have Microsoft Outlook or a calendar, online calendar systems, and these are just reference materials that I can break down in a different training. But these 4 things right here, right, plus that 5th bonus of dividers which go into the 3-ring binder. Levenger also has its own dividers too, that you can incorporate. But overall, those 4 things are everything, right? Those 4 things are everything. So let's wrap up and close this out. So this has been a Productive Soul conversation, and if you struggle at all with mental clarity and focus at this point, given what I just shared with you as far as how to create that for yourself, I don't know what to tell you. But I hope this has been at least entertaining and awakening, right? Because inside of your own productive lane and what you need to do, there's a part of you that just knows that there's some things that it's you and the mirror and the tools that you have to be able to execute. And these tools that I just shared with you, these 4 non-digital tools that you can use right away are them, right? I mean, they're some of them, right? That you can begin to actually start executing and thinking things through and having them at least create the mental clarity you need in order for you to know what to do, right? So that's it. Thank you so much for checking this out. If you've got other videos to catch up on, please make sure you do that. A version of this is maybe available on the YouTube channel for those of you who are checking this out on YouTube. But for those of you who are part of the 25 Blueprint Academy, if you haven't caught up on all the trainings leading up to this one, please do, because it'll make this make sense, okay? And help you accelerate your productivity. So, so that's it. Thank you so much for being a part of the community. This is your first time hearing this or listening to this or watching some of this content, and you want to be a part of the tribe, you want to be part of the community, use the link in the description section to, connect with us, or in my bio, depending on where you see this. And for those of you who are already part of the community, yeah, share your insights, share what your victories are, your wins, your challenges. We're here to support you, support each other, and make your life a life that you can celebrate, right? When it's on any given day, when it's all said and done, you want to be able to look and say, like, damn, I'm really kicking ass and taking names. So so that's it.